So being a teacher advocate, I teach in the morning classroom, and then my afternoons are more centered around social work for our families. So I call them, I touch base with them, check in with the parents and see how they're doing. And then we do home visits. So we do 2 home visits a year and then 2 parent-teacher conferences. But then sometimes I do more than 2 home visits depending on the family's needs. So I ended up, as far as collaborating with other agencies, we did Deschutes Behavioral Health, and then also in Redmond it's called the Manzanita Center. So I would sometimes have meetings there or go to the families' houses, so just helping them build those relationships. And then another one of our goals is helping families establish a doctor for their children so they can have a wellness exam, and then also a dental exam, and helping them find insurance and get OHP, and then help them find out where their dentist is and everything. And then another part, like during our home visits, is they form an FPA goal. So it's a family partnership agreement goal. And the goal can be anything for the family. So it could be like a small thing, like mom or dad have 15 minutes a day of just quiet time for them, or it could be like setting up like counseling for them. So it's anything. So I help them create that goal, and then throughout the whole year I check in on them and help them get those resources to accomplish that goal. So it's definitely, after having 20 kids in my class, I get to know the parents, I know their schedule, when I can call them, I get to know everything about them. Once we build that relationship and they trust me and everything, and it's amazing. And I've been lucky enough to have an inclusion assistant because my class has been the one that's needed it the most. It's been helpful. And then another collaboration we have is with Deschutes Behavioral Health, which they're kind of working on making that a stronger relationship right now. It's something that I always encourage parents and inform parents about, but I didn't ever I never really talked to someone over there, so I didn't know everything. But right before the end of the school year, I told a family about the program and helped them make the phone call, and the family asked me if I could go to the intake meeting with them since they felt comfortable with me. So I went to the intake meeting, I was so happy to be able, the parents wanted to do that, and they invited me because it was a really personal conversation. And the counselor there thanked me for being there just so I could provide more insight. And then they ended up getting the child into counseling, and then the counselor, I was able to reach out and we were able to talk so I could share what was going on at school. This child's now going on to kindergarten, and I wanted to do so much before before she left my classroom. So just knowing that at least this summer she has this counselor to help her. So I hope that that relationship gets stronger as far as working with Deschutes Behavioral Health. It's more so we refer them, but just having that, I reached out to the counselor, but then once she had my contact information, the release was signed, we were able to go back and forth. Sometimes with getting our children to have a wellness exam, there are times, there was one child that I was a little bit concerned with him in his feelings and not being happy and different things, and so I was able, the mom had the same concerns, so the doctor called me. So just having that relationship with the doctor too, so then the doctor knows what I'm seeing at school and they can help the child more. Projects coming up for on Thursdays, we would do for small group, we would do a group activity, and some of those it'd be helpful to have more help. So I would send out a note to my families and be we're making volcanoes today at this time, if you could come help, I would love to help, and your kids would love to see you. And when I send out those notes saying what we were doing, I would get a pretty good response, and I'd have a few parents always come and they would say for the project, because some parents they love coming, they want to help, but they don't necessarily know, they want to know what they would do or how to be helpful. So for some families, I think they really liked knowing what was going on at a certain time, when would be the most useful time to come. So it was amazing, having the families come. So each week there was a new child it was their All About Me week. And it was super simple. Parents could do what they wanted with it. So I give them half a piece of a poster board, and then a piece of paper that said all about me, my favorite color, my family, different things on it. and I'd send home a glue stick and markers and crayons, and then I'd call the family, tell them about it, tell them about the poster, and I'd give them ideas about how they could cut magazine pictures or decorate it, whatever they wanted to do. And it was amazing. I had every single family, all 20 kids, they all did it. And their parents, all grandparents, whoever it was, helped them decorate their poster. And then I had, we picked a day, so I'd call them, figure out what day, time would work best for them, and then they would come in. It typically was Thursdays at the end of the day, right after lunch, and they would share the poster with their child, and then their child could bring in a toy for sharing. When someone came, it wasn't just like one person that would come, it would be like a few people all coming to support that child. So that I'll definitely do again this year. Resource book. So I give every family one of those, and I can kind of see when we do our home visits. So after 2.5 months of forming that relationship with the families, and I can kind of like tell and read how the family's feeling, like how much they really are open to learning about the resources. So it takes a little bit of time. Some, like if they're asking questions, I'll talk to them more about it. I did have one family this year that they had a lot going on at home, and the things going on at home were influencing the child's behavior in the classroom, and I was concerned. So I did have one time where the parents, when I did suggest to choose behavioral health, they kind of came off. I talked to them gradually about it, but I could just tell they weren't in the state of mind to even talk about it. So down the line, a few months later, I brought it up again. But that's one thing we've talked about kind of as an organization, is when we do these home visits, we set these goals. Some of our families are not even, they have so much going on that each family we have to gradually kind of feel out the situations. So they are trying to like provide us with more training, just helping, trying to read like where the families kind of are. Because we bring all these flyers and things like that, and they're helpful, but sometimes when you get all these flyers, they overwhelms the families because they know they can't really take on all of that right now. It takes time. So it is meet them where they are, and then over time it gets they start calling me or texting me and things like that.